Hello dear students, welcome to our TV lesson. Hope you're okay and ready to study. Please don't forget your notebook and pen to make notes. Today we'll start a new module. The same is Timekeeping Devices. In today's lesson, you'll provide an overview of the module, you'll do a listening task, you'll know about ancient timekeeping devices. Today we are going to tell about timekeeping devices. For thousands of years, devices have been used to measure and to keep a track of time. An ancient timekeeping devices includes the sundial, the candle clock, a water clock, and the hourglass. Let's learn new words. Stick, a long thin piece of wood usually from a tree. Disc, a round flat object. Shadow, a dark shape made by a person or thing when it comes between light and a surface. Practice, the usual way something is done. Divide, to split into parts. Cast, to throw. Passing, of time going by. Existence, the state of being. Flow, steady movement. Light, to make something start to burn. Burn, to use fuel to produce light. Fill, to make something fall. Let's do the task. Task number 1. Complete the text using the words in the lists. Okay, watch the video and check your answers.
The history of timekeeping devices. Let's look at some interesting timekeeping devices used throughout history. Sundials are the earliest known timekeeping devices, used from at least 3500 BCE. They consisted of a flat disc made from stone or wood with markings on it and a stick on top. The shadow cast by the stick in the light of the sun could tell observers what part of the day it was. Obelisks, like sundials, used the shadow created by the sun to divide the day into parts, but in this case, the stick was a monument. The practice dates back to ancient Egypt, but has not been forgotten. The shadow cast by Taipei 101, Taiwan, the world's tallest building when it was completed in 2004, can be used to tell the time. Water clocks, also called clepsydras, have been in existence since at least 1500 BCE. They used the flow of water to measure the passing of time. They were originally stone and were used by the ancient Egyptians and Babylonians. Oil lamp clocks were glass containers filled with oil. A wick was placed in the oil and lit. As the wick burned and the oil was used up, markings on the side of the container could be used to indicate how much time had passed. Oil lamps were at the peak of their popularity in the 18th century and are no longer used today. Have you ever seen any of these devices? How else can we measure time?
The second task. Listen to students talking about ancient timekeeping devices and answer the questions. The first question. What is the boys' opinion of sundials? The second question, what do they both agree on?
Hi Ben, have you started Professor Hopkins' assignment yet? Did you choose to write about sundials or water clocks?
Water clocks, of course. What is there to say about sundials? They're so simplistic.
I don't agree. I chose sundials because they've got such an interesting history. They were the first timekeeping device ever invented. And although they seem simple to us now, they were actually quite remarkable 3,500 years ago. I find it fascinating that ancient people even thought to measure time by tracking the movement of the sun.
I can't argue with that. It was an inspirational idea to use the sun's passage across the sky to divide the day into parts. I suppose I always compare ancient timekeeping devices to the way we measure time today, so naturally a sundial looks primitive next to a digital watch. But I suppose measuring time had a different meaning back then. I mean, the concept of minutes and seconds didn't even exist.
Right. It was a different world, and although sundials seem outdated today, they were the first step on our path to atomic clocks and coordinated universal time.
Let's check. I hope you have done this task correctly.
The boy thinks that sundials are too simplistic and there is little to say about them. The speakers agree that the fact ancient people thought to measure time by the movement of the sun was inspirational. The speakers agree that the fact ancient people thought to measure time by the movement of the sun was fascinating.
Task 3. Match sentences 1 to 7 to the time devices. Let's check your answers. First is C, second is B, third is E, fourth is A, fifth is D, sixth is C, seventh is B. The next task. Close your books and write a few sentences about each one of these timekeeping devices. Okay. Well done. Let's listen to a correct answer.
Sundials rely on the sun to tell the time. They use a stick and look at the shadow cast by the stick in order to tell the time. Obelisks are similar to sundials, except the stick is a monument. Even tall buildings like the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., USA, can be used as an obelisk. Water clocks were stone objects that used the movement of water to tell the time. Oil lamp clocks worked by burning oil over time. You could tell how much time had passed by how much oil had disappeared from the lamp.
Okay, students, this is the end of the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.